Hi, good afternoon students and welcome to Bridge Course Bio classes. In the previous class we focused on the formation of the flower, how actually the flowers are going to be formed. Along with that one we observed some important terms related with the flowers. And today let me focus on a zoological concept. Already in your 10th class you had one chapter, the life processes. So related to the life process, so today let me consider one important life process, and that is particular in case of human beings. So breathing, the mechanism of breathing, how the respiration is going to occur in case of human beings. Actually the respiration and breathing, these two terms are quite different. They're having small differences, but most of the times we will be using both the terms synonymously together, but those are quite different, breathing and respiration. And today let me focus on that mechanism, how actually the breathing process is occurring, and along with that one to explain this human respiratory system and how the actually respiration process is occurring. So I have constructed a small plastic model for that explanation. So along with the demonstration of that model, so let's focus on how the actually respiration or breathing process is occurring in case of human beings, right? It is a very important life process. So if we consider that a human breathing process, or in general sense, or in another way I can say it as a respiration of a human. Yes. So if we consider, and already you are very familiar with this diagram, human respiratory system, human digestive system, human heart, that is circulatory system, and the kidneys, that is the excretory system, you are already familiar with them. So let me focus on this human respiratory system. So if we come to the respiration part, automatically we will use this general term, breathing. Breathing, synonymously we can use this term also, respiration. So here breathing means it is a mechanical process. Just breathing means it is a mechanical process. That mechanical process leads to respiration. That mechanical process leads to respiration. So here respiration, it is a confined term, breathing, it is a general term. So for example, if I consider breathing, breathing means that mechanical process we can notice. The organisms which are having the gills, the organism which are having the lungs, the organism which are having the book gills, so such kind of organs, particular respiratory organs, in those organisms we can notice the breathing by the movement of slight body parts. So for example, in case of human beings we can notice our breathing. Why? Because slightly the chest is moving. In case of fish we can notice the breathing. Why? Because on the either side of the, beside the head of the fish, so there will be light movement, so that is the gills movement. That means breathing is the mechanical process, we can slightly notice that one. But imagine in case of amoeba, in case of bacteria, in case of unicellular organisms, whether they will respire or not. Of course every organism will respire, every organism will take the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide, most of the organisms. But thing is, amoeba, bacteria do not have any such kind of organs. That means they will not show the breathing movement. That means we cannot see the breathing process. But every organism will compulsory see the that will show the respiration process. So in another sense, what I can say here is that a respiration process, it is the internal meant process. Breathing, it is externally meant process. Or respiration in a general, in another sense I can say that it is the internal respiration or cellular respiration. Cellular respiration generally or sometimes we will refer it as a just respiration, cellular respiration. What is that cellular respiration? Cell will take oxygen. Inside the cell there is mitochondria. Mitochondria, by using the oxygen, it will break the glucose and producing the carbon dioxide. So that is the cellular respiration. So here the respiration means cellular respiration, and here the breathing means external respiration. External respiration means from the lungs. In case of human beings, from the lungs, carbon dioxide is going outside and oxygen is entering inside in the form of air. That is inhalation, exhalation. So that process is breathing. Today let me focus on this breathing mechanism, how actually the breathing mechanism is occurring. So let me focus here. Breathing means exchange of respiratory gases between lungs, and that means in case of human beings particularly I am talking about lungs and environment. So it is the exchange of respiratory gases. Which are those respiratory gases? As already we know, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. So respiratory exchange of respiratory gases between the lungs and environment is considered to be the breathing process here. So how actually the process will occur? So I already have prepared one model. So along with the model we can easily understand that one. So before that one, let me explain the process. That means the parts, which parts are responsible for that respiration or breathing process to occur. So here, if we consider the human respiratory system, we are having the lungs. Lungs are suitable for that aerial respiration. That means our lungs are suitable for the consumption of air which is present in the gaseous form. But what about fishes? Fishes are having the gills. Gills are the respiratory organs in case of the fishes. But thing is, fishes gills is responsible or suitable for the absorption or respiring the oxygen which is already in the dissolved form. That means our lungs not suitable for aquatic form, our gills are not suitable for this aerial form. So if we consider that lung containing respiratory system in case of human beings, so already I have drawn a human respiratory system here. So here the respiration process starts from here, and here we are having the two small openings, and those openings we will refer them as nostril. How many nostrils we are having? Two nostrils we are having. Externally we can see them. So through the nostril the air will enter, right? Now when the air will enter inside, here there is a cavity. After the nostril, inside there is a gap, there is a space. So this cavity we will refer it as nasal cavity. So this is the nasal cavity, right? After this nasal cavity, the air next comes to this portion. So here this portion we will refer it as pharynx. I'll explain the parts afterwards. And next here we are having one box like structure. This box like structure we will refer it as larynx. And next one we are having one tubular structure. This tubular structure, major one, we will refer it as trachea. And after this trachea, the same trachea, it will divide into two branches, and these two branches we will refer them as bronchi, right? And this bronchi, this divided bronchi, again it will further divide to form secondary bronchi and tertiary bronchi. Imagine, this is the trachea. The trachea divided portions are bronchi. So one is the right bronchi, another one is the left bronchi. Bronchi again divide to form secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi again divide to form tertiary bronchi. And after that we are having the further divided structure. We will call them as bronchiole. Again bronchiole will again divide to form secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole, such many things. And finally we are having a small very thin tube, so we will refer it as alveolar duct, right? Alveolar duct. And finally we are having a small sac, red color, small bag, small sac like structures. We will refer them as alveoli. And after that one, here downside we are having one important part here, and this part we will refer it as a diaphragm. Diaphragm. And in between the two lungs, here actually, okay, let me show. Here actually the heart is present. The heart is situated here in between. So this is the heart. Yes, briefly if you want to describe, these are the major parts of the respiratory system. And here our respiratory system starts from the nostril, external nostrils, and ends in these small bag like structures, alveoli. So up to that portion, the total track, how the air is passing, the total together we will refer it as a human respiratory system, that all the parts. So here just I told you, the air enters through the nostril, and inside the nostril we can observe small hairy structures, small hairs inside the nostrils. Along with that one there will be mucus, jelly structure, mucus, and those are very much important here. And the same mucus content will be present in the nasal cavity also. See, imagine when air is entering, the air might be having so many dust particles, right? Along with the dust particles, it will be having so many impurities. Say for example, microorganisms. When such kind of impure air is entering, so dust particles get trapped by the hair-like structures. So when air is passing through the nostril, the air will trap the dust particles. Why? Because air is having that mucus content also, and the mucus content also helps in the trapping of dust particles. That means little bit clean air enters inside compared to outer air. Otherwise, if these structures are not present, means impure air as it is entered inside and internal parts get damaged. To avoid that one, so here nostrils and mucus content is present, and further air enters inside. When air enters inside, that is in this cavity. So let me show here. In this cavity, so there also mucus glands are present. They will secrete the mucus, jelly material. That mucus that will trap the dust particle. Along with that one, so air get humidified, moisten, air get moisten. So because of that reason, we can avoid the friction into this pipe when the air is passing. That means if the air is dry air is passing through the small pipe continuously, means there will be a appearance of friction. To avoid that one, air get moistened here. And one more thing, so here itself the air comes to the normal body temperature. What is our normal body temperature? That is 37 degrees Celsius, right? When air is entering there, for example, imagine we are in the summer season, right? In the summer season, outside temperature is 40 degrees Celsius, more than, okay, say for example 45, let us consider. Now the temperature is 45, but internally our body temperature is always 37. Always our body temperature will be 37. When 47 degree hot air is entering inside, if it is as it is entering inside, means internal parts get a little bit damaged because of entry of such kind of hot air continuously. To avoid that one, 45 degree air comes to the 37 degree temperature with the help of this portion. Then that air enters inside. And that nasal cavity next comes to the pharynx. Pharynx means it is the common space for intake of food as well as air. So here food pipe is present here. Imagine the mark. Here the food pipe opens. Here actually the food pipe is present. Through the food pipe, food is entering. Through the air pipe, air is entering. Both food and air commonly comes under this region, pharynx. And in the pharynx region, there is a epiglottis. So that epiglottis will bifurcate, food one side, air one side. So that is the thing actually. After the pharynx, the air comes to this box like structure. So this is the box. That box we will call it as a larynx. Larynx box, it is also called as sound box. So here it is a small box having the flap like structures, membranous structures, and those membranous structures will be vibrating just like paper. So imagine, take on paper, imagine here we have taken on paper, very thin paper. Imagine now I have to hold it very tightly. So if I make the move, if I blow it very with a high pressure, sound is producing. Why? Because of the flap like structures which are bleeding because of the air pressure. Such kind of so many flappy structures are present over there in this box like structure, and they produces the sound according to the air or according to the pressure that is created on the larynx. So because of that reason it is also called as sound box. Next, air comes to this tubular structure. So this tubular structure we will refer it as a trachea. We can feel the trachea. This is the trachea, right? We can feel that hard portion, trachea. And this trachea, it is little bit hard here, and it is made up of C-shaped rings here, like this. C-shaped rings are present here, and those rings we will refer them as C-shaped cartilaginous rings. C-shaped cartilaginous rings. Now, what is the work of these rings? These rings, they will avoid collapsing of the pipe whenever there is no air. That means that structure will be constant. This pipe will be constant. Behind this pipe there is a esophagus, food pipe. This is the air pipe what we are feeling right now. Air pipe backside there is a food pipe, and that to the backside there is a vertebral column here, right? So here we are having the trachea, and this trachea is made up of the C-shaped cartilaginous. Next, air comes to here. Next, trachea is divided into the branches. So those branches will refer them as bronchi. Left bronchi, right bronchi. One bronchi enters into one lungs. We are having the two lungs here. Sac, very spongy sac like structures. And inside, every structure will divide further and further, completely bifurcated, just like tree branches. We are having on stem. Stem divides into branches. Those branches again divide. Those branches again divide. Those branches again divide. So many sub branches. Here also the internal pipe like structures are continuously divided. So what those are forming? Bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, bronchiole, secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole. All the structures get formed. Finally, those structures finally form some very thin tube like structures. We will refer them as alveolar duct, and at the end of alveolar duct there is a small sac like structures. We will call them as alveoli. So alveoli are the small sac like structures. So finally air comes to the alveoli, and if I consider that one here, this is one alveoli. Just I enlarge here. This is the alveolar duct. This is one alveoli, small sac like structure, and it gets surrounded by blood vessels. Yes. So alveoli are surrounded by blood vessels, very thin blood vessels. We will refer them as capillaries. Yes. So these blood vessels, they are very connected with alveoli. Now through the alveoli the air will enter, respiratory air, that is oxygen particularly, along with other gases will enter, and now by the diffusion process that oxygen comes to the blood, from the blood carbon dioxide comes to the alveoli by the diffusion process. So this process happens over there actually. And below these two lungs, or sorry, in between the lungs there is a heart, in between the lungs there is a space, little bit space, and downside there is diaphragm, very important part here in the respiration process to occur. So this is how we can see the respiratory system. And lungs externally covered by the bones, these lateral bones, we will refer them as ribs. We are having the ribs, so many. So those ribs, they form one cavity, thoracic cavity. Lungs are very soft. If any pressure is applied, means the lungs do not get collapsed, lungs do not get damaged. Why? Because we are having just a tough cavity, tough covering, tough shield. That shield is formed by upper bony structures. We will refer them as ribs. So in that sense, if we consider that portion, yes, this is how our thoracic chamber is there, thoracic cavity is there here. Imagine this starting bone which is present here, we will refer it as a sternum. This is sternum. I will show that sternum here. Just imagine, apply the pressure here, you can feel very hard part here, right? Up to this mark only, above this one there is no bone. Up to this mark straight we are having one bone. This bone is the sternum, right? Backside also we are having one bony tube like structure, that is a vertebral column or backbone. Backside backbone, front side we are having the sternum in this position. One is ventral side, one is dorsal side. Lateral side we are having these bones. These bones will refer them as ribs. All of these are the ribs. And downside we are having one floor like structure, so that is the diaphragm. And this diaphragm, it is made up of cartilage, a special connective tissue. I explained that one. So this tip of the nose also made up of cartilage, this is also made up of cartilage. Such kind of cartilage part is present here, and that will be present in the C shape or dome structure here normally. So this is the thing here. So that means front also covered, sternum, back also covered, vertebral column, sides also covered, that is the ribs, and downside also covered, that is diaphragm. So from all the side if it is covered, means it forms one room like structure. That room like structure we will refer it as a thoracic cavity. So it is going to form thoracic cavity. So anything change in the thoracic cavity, that leads to the breathing process. Anything changes in the position of the thoracic cavity internally, then it leads to the respiration, that means breathing process to occur. How actually that happens here? So let's discuss, let's have a look on that. steps of respiration or steps of breathing. Actually that is the steps of breathing. Actually we are having two steps here. The first step is inhalation and second one is exhalation. Inhalation we will also call it as a inspiration. Respiration occurring inside, inspiration. Exhalation we will also call it as a expiration. Respiration occurring, that means respiration is existing, expiration. Inhalation, exhalation, or inspiration, expiration. Taking of air inside and removing of air outside, or existing of air outside. Two steps we are having. Both the steps together we will call it as a one breathing cycle. Right? Per minute in normal condition we can see 15 to 18 breathing cycles per minute, for 1 minute. In 1 minute of time we will breathe 15 to 18 times in 60 seconds. When we are doing heavy exercises, at that time breathing rate may be 20 to 25 times. So that breathing rate is controlled by a center present in the brain. So that is the thing here. And how the inhalation exhalation occurs means, during inhalation process air should enter inside. Here air, I am saying air, not oxygen. Oxygen enters, nitrogen enters, carbon dioxide enters, hydrogen enters, different gases enters. But thing is, our body absorbs only oxygen, not other gases. Why? So you think of that one. That is actually homework in tomorrow's homework. So after the completion of class I am giving some questions. You can check on, you can work on those questions, right? So here air is entering inside the lungs. Imagine one thing, if any material entering from one place to another place means there must be pressure difference. If it is a gas, automatically there should be a pressure difference. Whether gas moves from higher pressure to lower pressure or lower pressure to higher pressure. Yes, always gas moves from higher pressure to lower pressure. If the air is surrounding, atmospheric air entering our lungs means inside lungs pressure should be less. Outside the lungs, that is in the environment, pressure should be more. Higher pressure to lower pressure. So that process is inhalation. In the next step, here pressure should be more, there pressure should be less. Higher pressure to lower pressure, exhalation. That means one time pressure should be less, one time pressure should be more. To make that difference to happen, so there are some special parts in the respiratory system. For mentioning those parts, intercostal muscles, and second one is diaphragm. Majorly these two. Along with that one we are having abdominal muscles also. So let me consider these two, intercostal muscles and diaphragm. In intercostal muscles, and where exactly these muscles are present means these muscles are present in between the ribs. ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಕೆಲುಬು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ribs, right? So these intercostal muscles are found between the ribs. Say for example, this is one rib, this is another rib, right? In between the ribs there are some special muscles, right? Like this, there are some special muscles. These muscles we will call them as intercostal muscles. In the intercostal muscles, again two types: external intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles. When external intercostal muscles will contract, it leads to the first process, intake of air. When internal intercostal muscles will contract, it leads to the second step, that is exhalation. So this is how the mechanism occurs. Along with that one, here the special mentioning is diaphragm. So already I have shown the diaphragm. This is the dome shaped structure, diaphragm. Yes, diaphragm. During intake of air, the diaphragm, it is a normal shape of the diaphragm, it will contract. That means dome shaped diaphragm, it will come downward, it will be flattened like this, it will flatten. When it will flatten, upper side the area will increase, so here the area will increase. At the same time, external intercostal muscles get contracted in between the ribs. When those muscles get contracted along with the diaphragm, at that time the total chest region, here the chest region means where I mentioned, okay, chest region means thoracic cavity. So that chest region move in two direction, one is forward, one is upward. See here, if I taking inhalation process, that means chest is moving little bit forward as well as upward. So that happens because of these two changes, contraction of these two muscles. When chest region enlarges, at that time thoracic cavity volume more, automatically inside the lungs pressure is decreasing. When inside the lung pressure decreasing, automatically the external air is entering inside from higher pressure to lower pressure. That leads to the inhalation process. And keep this diaphragm, major part here, this one. During exhalation, the flattened diaphragm, which is get flattened here diaphragm, so that again comes to the normal position like this. That means it comes to the normal position. When it comes to the normal position, at the same time internal intercostal muscles will contract in between the ribs, so that leads to the reverse action. Reverse action means the forwarded and upwarded thoracic chamber comes to the normal position. That leads to the contraction. First lungs expanded, next lungs will contract. When the lungs will contract, at the same time the air will go outside. That air majorly contains carbon dioxide. This is the thing. And how this process we can relate with our model. So imagine, I think most of you have already seen this model. Very simple model but very effective model. So here I have prepared one model. Imagine this pipe with a normal bottle. I have prepared this one, Sprite bottle. So this is the pipe. Imagine this pipe, consider this one as a track total up to this one, this track, right? Imagine this opening is the nostril, right? This is the pipe. Now this total bottle, what chamber is there, imagine this one as a thoracic cavity. This total is a thoracic cavity, and inside that red color balloon is the lung. Actually I have shown one lung, two lungs will be there, one lung is there, imagine. So those are the lungs and major portion. This portion is the diaphragm right now, this one diaphragm. And if I am showing this is a front side, means front side here one bony part is there, just like that is the sternum. Back side here is the vertebral column, and a side region, all of these are the ribs, and downside diaphragm, all together form this thoracic cavity total. Inside thoracic cavity there is the lungs, actually there are lungs. Now how the movement of the lungs, inhalation, exhalation, inspiration and expiration is occurring actually. Imagine, just observe the movement. Now imagine diaphragm present in the dome shaped inside. When I push it down downside, that means when it becomes flattened, then see how the changes are occurring. Now it is the total lungs get collapsed, like that means contraction. Imagine, right? How the movement is occurring, how the lungs are moving because of the movement of this diaphragm, right? So that means whenever we are bringing chamber in the thorax, I am not going to change or I am not going to touch that lung even. I am just changing the thoracic cavity. Anything change in the thoracic cavity automatically changes the movement of the lungs. If I draw the diaphragm downside, if the diaphragm downside, then automatically air enters inside the lungs, inhalation. Along with that one, here muscles are working, intercostal muscles, right? That is the thing. And below the diaphragm, those are abdominal muscles. And during inspiration, when the air is entering inside, at that time, so the abdominal muscles will contract. So that abdominal muscles are relaxing. Downside here in this position, abdominal muscles are relaxing. When abdominal muscles will relax, at the same time, so abdominal organs, whatever the abdominal organs are present inside, those are going to compress. Because of that reason, we feel little bit pain when we are taking much amount of air inside. Say for example, so here pain get created. Why? Because here, when inspiration process is more, here the pressure created in the lower portion, that means abdominal organs get compressed a little bit, and when the air goes outside, that process occurs in the reverse direction. So this is how actually the respiration process is occurring. It is totally a physical process. Pressure difference, pressure more, pressure less, air enters inside. Here pressure more, outside pressure less, air goes outside. Inspiration, expiration, inhalation, exhalation. So those two processes will occur. And one more thing I told you, air enters inside. I did not say oxygen, just air. Nitrogen enters, oxygen enters, carbon dioxide enters, other gases also enters. But when the nitrogen enters, actually 70% of nitrogen is entering. When that nitrogen enters, same nitrogen is going outside. Nitrogen is not dissolved in our blood. That is one thing. And when we are taking air inside, oxygen also enters inside. How much percentage? 21% of, or 21 to 23% oxygen is entering inside. But when we are exhaling, at that time 17% of oxygen is removing as it is. That means some amount of oxygen is absorbed by your blood. And when we are taking air inside, 0.04% of carbon dioxide is entering inside. When we are removing air outside, at that time 4% of carbon dioxide is going outside. So what it indicates, we are taking oxygen majorly, while we are removing carbon dioxide majorly. Because of that reason, oxygen and carbon dioxide, these two referred as respiratory gases. So this is the thing here, right? Regarding this process, regarding the respiration process, or regarding those parts, if you are having any doubts or any interesting doubts, please make one video of 10 to 15 seconds and send that video to me. So on that interesting question, we can have the discussion in our next class. And as a homework, I am giving you few questions. Question number 1. The first question is that, of course, yes, here the air is entering inside during inhalation, and during exhalation air is going outside. So that process occurs 15 to 18 times in 1 minute, right? That means it is a fast process actually. Within that fast process, how oxygen is absorbed by the blood and how the carbon dioxide present in the blood is given outside. How actually that process occurs? That is my first question. And second question, listen carefully. The second question is that, of course, to the alveoli that air enters, from the alveoli blood will take the oxygen and given the carbon dioxide. Now what happens to that oxygen which is taken by the blood? What is its next work? That oxygen work. Yes, that is my second question. Third question, who will absorb that oxygen present in the alveoli to the blood? Who will absorb the oxygen present in the alveoli? From the alveoli, the blood has to absorb the oxygen. Which part is responsible for absorption of the oxygen? Yes. So these are the questions related to that one. And the next video, during next video, I think you will write many answers for that one, for those 3 questions. In the next video, let me come up with another interesting concept related to the life process only. Yes. Thank you.